Hi readers, I'm so glad you could join us today. Today I thought I'd do something a little bit different. I'm going to be talking about how to make predictions in fiction books. I'm going to start with a picture book that has been awarded the Caldecott Medal, which is the medal given for outstanding picture book. This one was awarded in 2021. This is a brand new book, and I thought it would be really interesting to make some predictions, to show you how to make predictions in a book I've never read before. I wanted to show how I approach a book when I first get a book or when I first introduce a book to a student. So the book today is called We Are Water Protectors, and it's written by Carol Lindstrom and it's illustrated by Michaela Goad. So when I first look at this book, I look at the front cover and I look at the back cover. There's a couple of things I notice right away. How gorgeous the illustrations are. And I'm immediately taken by the character in the middle and how she reminds me of the Native American culture. And in my mind, I think about what I know about Native American culture, and this matches what I already know. And I see the people here all holding hands. And I look at the title, We Are Water Protectors. And it brings to mind what I know about the Native cultures and their very strong ties with the earth, and how valuable and treasured the earth and all that it provides is in the Native cultures. And it makes me wonder if this story is going to reflect that love and honor that certain cultures have for our world. After I look at the picture, I look at the inside, and I read the inside flap. Water is the first medicine. It affects and connects us all. When a black snake threatens to destroy the earth and poison her people's water, one young water protector takes a stand to defend Earth's most sacred resources. So it does make me wonder what a water protector is, who a water protector is. And then I go on a picture walk where I just page through the book. I noticed right away the artistry, and I get a very deep sense of Native culture. I notice that there's not a ton of words on every page, and that makes me wonder, is there meaning that we can also find within our illustrations? I suspect that we will. It makes me wonder what the problem in the story might be about. I already have a bit of an idea that something is challenging the water supply on Earth. And it's up to, oh, look at that. Ooh, do you notice how the colors change from this beautiful, well, it's starting to change there, but look at the beautiful warmth and joy and beauty that's in these pictures. And then we change to this with the black and red. And even without reading the words, we know that this right here is the problem. This is the problem that needs to be solved, this black snake. And I suspect this is our water protector, helped by many. Just walk, oh, look at that. Someone's going to have to be very brave. That's my prediction. But it looks like there's hope. Our story has hope. Oh, there's our world. And look, all the animals in our world. As I just page through, do you see what's happening in my brain? I'm just making predictions about what I think the problem in the story might be, the people trying to solve the problem, what they might use to help them solve the problem. I look at the colors, makes me wonder if they're successful in solving the problem. And I get to the end of the story. Oh, there's a pledge. I get to the end of the story. Oh, I always love it when I get a little bit more information about what the core part of the story is about. And now I'm actually ready to read my book. I've made some predictions. They might all be wrong, but I'm ready to read, particularly to find out what happens to that very, very frightening snake. That's one way to do pre-reading activities that get our brains ready to read and learn from our story. See you next time. Hi, readers. Continuing on with our theme of predictions and making predictions about a book you've never read before, I'd like to introduce you to two novels. This one was the Newbery Award winner that was awarded in 2021, called When You Trap a Tiger by Tay Keller. This book is called A Wish in the Dark by Christina Soontornvent. So sorry for mispronouncing her name. This is a Newbery Award runner-up. Both brand new books, neither one of which I've read, but I wanted to model how to make predictions in a novel. So the first one, When You Trap a Tiger, I have to say, just looking at the cover, that's one of the first things I would do when making a prediction. I look at the cover, I look at the sparkly jar, and I think about the title, When You Trap a Tiger. And I'm thinking trapping a tiger isn't like trapping a firefly. It's not like trapping a caterpillar. I don't even know if you can trap a tiger. And I don't even know how to trap a tiger. So the question, when you trap a tiger, makes me think that this book is going to have a lot of action and adventure in it, because I can't imagine trapping a tiger. And I'm thinking that when you trap a tiger, might be how you solve a really big problem. Maybe a tiger is a really big problem. So that's where I start. Then I look at the back, and it says, when you trap a tiger, her story begins. Listen, this isn't like any tiger I've seen in a zoo. It's huge, as big as our car. The orange in its coat seems to glow, and the black is as dark as moonless night. The tiger belongs in one of Halmoni's stories. I wonder who Halmoni is. I lean forward until the seatbelt slices into my skin. The big cat lifts its enormous head, and it looks at me. And then the tiger raises an eyebrow like it's daring me to do something. Right away, I'm very, very intrigued and really want to find out what might be going on in this book. Then I read the front flap. Halmoni, I whisper, will you tell us a story? My grandmother smiled. Oh, so that's Halmoni. And I don't think that that's an English word, so this story must take place in a different culture. I'll start again. My grandmother smiled, took a deep breath, and began with the Korean version of Once Upon a Time. Oh, now I know. So this story looks like it's going to be, the Korean culture is going to be involved. Oh, that makes me very excited. Long, long ago, when tiger walked like man. So that's the Korean version of how a fairy tale starts. Long, long ago, when tiger walked like man. When Lily and her family move in with her sick grandmother, a magical tiger straight out of her Halmoni's Korean folk tale arrives, prompting Lily to unravel a secret family history. Long, long ago, Halmoni stole something from the tigers. Now they want it back. And when one of the tigers approaches Lily with a deal, return what her grandmother stole in exchange for Halmoni's health. Remember, she's sick. Lily is tempted to agree, but deals with tigers are never what they seem. So I'm thinking that I'm not really sure what the problem in this book might be, but there's a big one. There's a secret family history, and it has something to do with her grandmother, and trying to solve the problem might be like trapping a tiger. That's my prediction, and I'm really excited to find out what that might be. The second book, A Wish in the Dark by Christina Soontornvat, and I'm, again, so deeply apologetic for not probably mispronouncing her name. I just, again, I haven't read the story, but based on what the inside cover says, so A Wish in the Dark, that's a little bit easier title for me to get my head around, because I think we all make wishes in the dark. And based on the cover, I can tell that the main characters are going to be children. It doesn't look like a place where I've been, so I wonder if it's going to take place in another culture. Those are some questions that I have. I'm not ready to make a prediction yet. So I'm going to open and read the front cover. A boy on the run, a girl determined to find him. All light in Chaitana is created by one man, the governor, who appeared after the great fire to bring peace and order to the city. This sounds like one of those kind of maybe science fiction or fantasy books. Maybe not, like it didn't really happen in a world that I would live in. For Pong, who was born in Namwan prison, the magical lights represent freedom, and he dreams of the day he will be able to walk among them. But when Pong escapes from prison, he realizes that the world outside is just as unfair as the one behind bars. The wealthy dine and dance under bright lights, while the poor toil away in darkness. Worst of all, Pong's prison tattoo marks him as a fugitive who can never be truly free. So I'm making some pretty significant connections right now to our real world and how it seems that people who have a lot of money live and behave quite a bit differently from people who work really hard and don't have a lot of money. So I can't help but wonder if maybe this story, A Wish in the Dark, talks about unfairness, lack of justice in a society. As you'll see, I've just marked 3 spots. Again, I haven't read this story, but when I read this inner cover, it made me wonder if perhaps there's opportunities to make predictions within the story. So that's one thing we do about predictions. We make them at the beginning, we can make them while we're reading, and unbelievably, we can even make them at the end if we're wondering what might happen to the character or what might have been different if things had changed in the novel. So really quickly, I'm just going to read a couple of these to give an idea of some of the ways we can make predictions in a text. On page 87, our last paragraph in our chapter says, "That was why she didn't notice that the young monk in training trembled as he hid his left hand tight behind his back." Well, of course, I'm dying to know, first of all, why was he trembling and what was he hiding? I could make a prediction. He's trembling because he heard something that he fears his life might be in danger. I know this is an adventure story. And what's he hiding? I don't have enough information, but I bet by the time I get to page 87, I'm going to have a better idea. How about this one? The bottom of page 183. The moment they left the door, Pong felt the darkness stir behind his left shoulder. He pushed Samkit into the mud house and started to scream, but no sound came out. A hand clamped hard over his mouth and yanked him into the shadows. Of course, I will not be able to wait to find out what happens on page 184. Who yanked him and why? But I bet that if I've read up to page 183, I have an idea. This is the kind of chapter that asks us to make predictions. This is the kind of ending of chapter. It asks us to make predictions. We want to be more involved in the story. We want to turn the page and find out who in the world clamped a hand over his mouth and yanked him into the shadows. I think he's in trouble. Big trouble. Or might it be someone he knows who's trying to save him from something? And the last one, again, right before chapter 36, page 282. "Where are you going to go now?" Pong asked her. but Knock had already slipped away, melting into the shadows without a sound. I bet if we've read up until page 282, we have an idea, based on what we know about Knock, what we know about Pong, to figure out where this character might have gone and why. And once we make those predictions, we're ready to read chapter 36 to find out if we're correct. So predictions are a wonderful way to stay engaged in a story, make us want to read more and more, and think about what we know about characters to help us understand what they might or might not do, and to find out if what we said is correct. So I personally can't wait to read this story to find out if anything I've said based on what I think this story might be about might be true. But I tell you what, I am ready to read it. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.